Alrighty, good afternoon. Today is Monday, May 16th at 6:15. We are starting the Marlborough City Council Personnel Committee. There are 2 items on the agenda, so we'll jump right in, starting with order number 22-18582A. So reappointment of Joseph Bristol to the Council of Aging for a 4-year term to expire on May 4th, 2026. If we can just have you please come up. Right this way, my friend.
Oh, what's that? Yeah, keep on going.
Yeah, this way.
Yeah.
If you want to just sit right at the well, you can have a seat right here. Right at the table, have a seat. The middle one, perfect. There we go.
Okay.
We like to make sure you're comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah. How are you today?
Good, thank you.
Good. So if you want to just tell us a little about yourself, and since it's a reappointment, why would you like to come back to the Council of Aging?
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm Joseph Bezal. I live at 212 Hudson Street in Marlborough. I've been a resident of the city for 47 years, and I am currently serving for my first 4 years on the Council on Aging. I am also currently the Vice Chair for the Council on Aging. In addition, I represent the City of Marlborough at the Bay Path Elder Affairs, which services 14 communities. I am also the Treasurer for Bay Path Elder Affairs, and recently Bay Path was merged with Springwell, which is another agency located in the greater Boston area, and I was able to get onto the board of Springwell to represent Marlborough in the effective July 1st will be the new organization. One of the issues is being a member of this board is we act in an advisory capacity, and we try very often to address all the needs of the citizens as they come before the board. One of the things that we do have working very hard is to reestablish some continuity of programming, and that includes programs not just at the senior center, but things like exercises and yoga and fitness. If there's anything that we could do as a board in the community is looking at how we can offer more of these programs. There are limitations right now, and sometimes there are members of the community who can't attend these programs because of that. So I do hope that in the future the council looks at the possibility of either conducting a survey or looking at ways of expanding these programs so that all seniors have an opportunity to exercise, without feeling that they've been left out.
Excellent. I will open it up for questions from Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And thank you, Joe, for your service. Appreciate the service that you do. When you're on the board of Bay Path and Springwell, whatever the merged business is going to be, what are the issues that come up in that board that result, that basically go back to Marlborough?
Well, the difference between the boards here in Marlborough, our board is considered advisory in nature only. At Bay Path, we actually have, as board, the authority to hire and fire the executive director. We make budgetary decisions. We approve the budgets. As treasurer, I meet with the auditors when they audit the financial statements for Bay Path. I actually have to sign off as that, to the best of my knowledge, I have no knowledge of anything that's, what they consider to be irregular or anything that would be a misrepresentation. So there is quite a difference in the responsibility of the boards. And once again, the difference is that Bay Path is an organization established by the state legislature, and as part of that charter, the board was given tremendous responsibility to become, if you will, the oversight on behalf of the Executive Office of Elder Affairs.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Which came first, being on the Council of Aging or being on the board of Springwell? Which were you doing first?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Which one were you doing first?
Which one do I?
No, did first. Sorry. Were you on the Council of Aging before you got?
Yeah, that's correct. The only way I could be as part of the Bay Path Board was that each community that makes a Bay Path has to send a representative from the city or town. So when the gentleman who served before me resigned, I was then appointed or elected by the Council on Aging Board to be Marlborough's representative to Bay Path. So that's how that works.
Okay.
And the way, once you get on the Bay Path Board, then you end up having a term. And my term would expire in 3 years at Bay Path, but because they're merged, and now we have a new board, and I don't know for certain, but I could actually have a term that could be up to 9 years, because they were trying to stagger board members so everyone doesn't leave at once.
Right.
But because because we're new, we get to be in the class that starts at the 9 years, and there'll be a class of 6 years and a class of 3 years. I don't know where I'm going to be yet because that hasn't been determined. So it's possible I could either be in a class that serves 3 years, 6 years, or 9 years. I don't know that at this time.
Sure. Well, I appreciate the explanation.
Yeah, I really enjoy doing this. I mean, my background is accounting and finance. I had worked at Raytheon for about 20 years, and then I worked for Channel 5. At Raytheon, I was the corporate accounting manager. At Channel 5, I was actually the assistant controller. And then when I left Channel 5, I worked for the town of Wellesley as the accounting manager for the municipal light plant. So I've had the opportunity to work in 3 major different industries and have an appreciation for both how, if you will, town government operates versus industrial. But one of the things I've seen in my life that as budgets in cities become more complicated and much larger, they have adopted a lot of policies that you would see at companies. Too often somebody says you can't run this like a company. But in many ways, you do run it like a company, maybe not as religiously as far as the profit side. But the difference is that instead of a profit, you have to be accountable to the citizens. And so that's even more important than the shareholders sometimes, because you'll get immediate feedback. I mean, when I worked at Wellesley, it was always amazing how quickly you can hear back when something's gone wrong with in my case, the electrical power. Even though I worked in accounting, I would certainly hear about issues. And I'm sure it's like everything else. If a water main breaks, you know right away that something's gone wrong because someone says they can't make supper or that you take a bath or whatever. So there is a lot of similarities in the way the different organizations do work.
Okay. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Any
other
other
questions?
Thank you. Is there anyone else that's not on the personal?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No, I just want to strongly recommend Joe Beisel for the position on the Council on Aging. The work he's done for Bay Path, as a member of the board, the board is always looking for people to step up. Joe has stepped up. He's embraced this, and he's been an extremely valuable member, not only to the Council on Aging, but also representing Marlborough on Bay Path. So I would encourage the committee to look favorably on Joe's reappointment.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that, Mike. I also feel an obligation when you're asked to serve in an organization. It shouldn't just be type of a figurehead type of thing, that you should do it with a sense of commitment. And, in addition to serving on the Council on Aging, I also do volunteer work for Mass Wildlife. And it's one of those things that I just feel that it's important, to give back experience that I have. It's of no value sitting in my home, so I feel like if I can share the knowledge I have and pass it on to others, and that's an obligation I believe we should all have when we look at volunteer work.
We thank you for that, and not too many people have that mindset, so it's much appreciated. Any other questions? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve Joseph Bissell to the Council of Aging for a 4-year term.
Thank you. It is seconded. And we will vote. All in favor? Any further discussion? If not, it is approved. 2-0. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next item on the agenda is order number 22-185-82B. It's the appointment of Zella Heshi to the Council of Aging for a 4-year term to expire May 4th on 2026. You want to come on up? How are you today?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you.
Excellent. All righty, if you want to just tell us a little about yourself and why Council of Aging.
Yes, my name is Zella Heshi. I go by Zella, and I've lived in Marlborough since 1999. Got married and happy here in Marlborough. I worked at Marlborough Hospital before retiring, and was active with different organizations at the hospital, but also Friends of Marlborough Seniors. I was a member of that as well.
Excellent. Yeah, we'll open up to any questions. If not, Councilor Doucette?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. How long have you been on the Council of Aging now?
It's the appointment.
This is the new appointment. Okay. Well, thank you for your service. I appreciate you volunteering for the service, and wish you the best.
Thank you.
If no other questions from the Personnel Committee, we'll open up. Councilor Perlman?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you so much for stepping up to volunteer. I was just curious, what are some ideas that you might have for the board? And I appreciate all your service as well at the hospital. It's great to see you giving back in all these different ways.
Well, I am an active member at the Senior Center, so I see a lot that goes on. I hear a lot, and I know about some of the programs, and I think they could be improved so that more people can benefit from them, more seniors can benefit from them. I think I'd like to be more active in that area.
No, I think that's great. I think a lot of people also want to, have participation in the programs, and it's great that you've been so active so you can kind of be that voice and conduit from the board to the public. So thank you so much for stepping up, and I'm excited that I'm going to be on the board.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just like to acknowledge Zella's been a faithful attendee, not on the board, but attending the board meetings to learn, watch, observe, and offer some insight for the last 3 or 4 months now. So the initiative there to want to be on the board, I think, is commendable. And again, I would hope the committee looks favorable on her appointment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty, anything further? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve, Zella?
Thank you,
to the
Councilor
Council of
Doucette.
Aging.
And it is second by the chair. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor? 2-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pretty painless, yes?
Excuse me?
Pretty painless.
Yes.
Yeah. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Seconded. Any other further comments, questions about the adjournment? If not, 2-0. We are adjourned at 6:28.